Edulsa-Naive, and today I'm going to talk about for loop in Python. So first is we are going to discuss the syntax of for loop. So the for loop in Python actually uses for keyword and then a variable. So this is a variable, and then in keyword, and then we are going to use the range function. Okay, colon, don't forget the colon, and then your statement. Okay, so for example, print I. So the for loop range actually can have one parameter, two parameters. Okay, so let's have first a very common, which is the two parameter. So when we say two parameters, so you will have for I in range, the first parameter would be the initial value, and the second parameter would be the last value of the sequence or of the range. So say for example, you will start with your range by 0, and then the last value would be 5. So others know says it's a start, and then others it says it's a stop. Okay, actually inside the range function should be a number or an integer. Okay, so it should not be a string. So just an illustration, I said it's a start and stop. So it should be start of the range, start of the sequence, and stop of the sequence. So for example, you have 0 to 5, and then you are going to print the value I. So first is the start is I is equivalent to 0, and then you have it will then increment plus 1. Okay, and then I is equivalent to 1, and it will then print 1, then so on and so forth. So for the stop, it is always minus 1. So if you're going to run, it will start by 0 up to 4 only. Why? Because this 5 will always be minus 1. Then the stop parameter will be always minus 1. Okay, so if you're going to have, for example, for x in range 0, 4, so it will stop at 3, starts with 0. Okay, so notice 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that is the function there. For next is what if it has one parameter only. So say for example, you will have 5, and then you're going to print j. Okay, so if the range or if the for loop has only one parameter, automatically it means stop. Okay, so of course again stop would always be minus 1. So it will and of course automatically it will start by index 0. Okay, so that is why it starts with 0, because it always starts with 0. So again, if you only have one parameter, automatically this means that it is stop, and automatically it means that it starts with 0. So 5 minus 1 equals 4. So it starts with 0 and ends with 4. Okay, and next is what if the third is, first is you have two parameters, next is you have one parameter, and next is you will have three parameters. So for example, you have for y in range 0, then you have 8, then you have 2. So when we have three parameters, it means initial value, then you have last value, then you have the step. or to make it easy, you have the start, stop, and stop. So it means that 0 is the start of the for loop, 8 is the stop, and step is the step of the for loop. Okay, so if you're going to print y, it starts with 0 and then 2. So there is an interval of 2 because you have this step 2. Okay, and then of course 8 minus 1 is 7, so it will not anymore print 7 and 8. Okay, so 0, 2, 0, 2, 4, 8. So another example, you have starts with 1, and then you have, for example, you end with 12, and you have 3. So what do you think is the answer? So you have 1 plus 2, you have plus 3, you have 4. So you have 1, 4, 7, and 10. So 12 minus 1 is 11. So 10 plus 3, it should be 13. So it will not print anymore. Okay. So those were the for loop in Python. So again, this is a for loop with 2 parameters. Okay, and this one is a for loop with only 1 parameter. Okay, sorry. Okay, and this one is a for loop with 3 parameters. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have questions, you may comment on the comment section below. Thank you.